Can I be honest with you? I didn't really want to film this video, mostly because there were two questions slash tips that I was planning to share that I had jotted down last week that, due to a recent situation, as in the last few days, made me realize, wait a second, I don't have these tips down. I haven't mastered them. So how can I share them with you if I don't even know how to implement and how to really apply it in my own life? But I figured, you can see this whole process happening now, and I'd rather share them and it be helpful for someone or for you rather than keep it to myself just because I don't have it figured out. So, given that, what happened recently was my reluctance to go to a holiday event that's going to be happening in a few days. And this is nothing new. Past years, I've had the same kind of reluctance, etc. But this year, I was really focusing on one particular detail of the event that was ending up being my excuse to not go. And at the time, didn't even realize that that was even happening until I kind of dug deeper and realized, oh, it's because I have this strong reluctance to not go. Reasons don't really matter, but, things like past disappointments, not really connecting authentically, and just not having a good time was kind of a little glimpse of that. So two things came through with the situation. Number one was inspired by Wayne Dyer, who basically said anytime somebody has conflict, it's really all about the need to be right. So based on that one question that came through is, am I choosing peace or the need to be right? And I'll be super frank, that is a tough one to swallow, especially when you're in it, like I was last night. Last night I was super attached to my reasons, my feelings, my everything that I felt was in my right, and kind of like blindly not even considering anything else, whether it made sense or not. It's like if you ever get in those moods where, there's some negativity, some negative thoughts, and it almost like gives you more power, like you're tapping into the dark side of like, no, I want it this way and it has to be this way, and I'm right and I feel justified. Like, okay, that's what was happening for me last night. And it's funny because I ended up calling a couple other close people to me and chatting through it last night, but I was in my, no, I'm right, and I'm, in that negative state of mind. And it's also a reminder of like, if someone's giving you, hey, let's reframe this or let's do that without any validation of that person's own feelings, tends to fall on deaf ears. And it kind of made me realize, well, gee, when I tell some of my girls some advice, if I'm not doing the validation first of like where they're at, it doesn't matter, because I was just experiencing that just on those phone calls. So that was another thing that came to realization. Okay, so the second thing, original one that I was planning to share, was the question about really what the season is all about. And so no matter what you believe, I think the focus of the idea behind the season is to reminders of joy, reminders of peace. And we get so caught up in all the obligations, the things we have to do, the preparation of the food, the getting ready of your house if you're hosting, the doing all the travel to go see family. And again, it's just obligation, the have-tos, and those are not always fun. But since the season is that the theme is peace and joy, I think that second question, when asking yourself this in a state where you're in a good place, can be helpful. And that is, Where can I find joy or peace in this moment? And I know it sounds really simple, but it's definitely easier said than done. Because if you're in that negative state like I was last night, that question's, you're going to toss it off. Toss it out. That's just not landing. But I think, after calming down, doing some quick deep breathing, like self-regulation, and kind of big picture thinking, for my family, what are they going to remember during this time, 10 years from now, 20 years from now? And that's one way to look at it. But again, when you're in that space. Some of the things that came through, at least last week, before this happened, I did jot them down. Here's what came through. Being present when observing my nieces and nephews opening their gifts and seeing the expressions on their faces. That would be something that I could find joy in. And savoring the food, the seasonal variety during this time of year. Only certain kinds of like gingerbread stuff and other themed items. My favorite sugar cookies with the frosting on it, come up or are more common this year. Admiring the decorations, the different lights in people's yards and the festive music. And then sometimes it's like, oh yeah, you roll your eyes when it's that time of year. But again, I think it's because we associate this time of year with those have-tos. But if you just pause and think, gosh, well, that's beautiful decoration and some creativity in people's yards, the way they place the lights and things of that nature. I really take that in. There are a lot of moments behind those have-tos. Because even if you think about the presents, you have to go buy this for people, whatever. But it's like, oh, here's an opportunity to think about that person specifically and what they like, and you're kind of shining the light for them on that moment of, I care about you. I'm thinking of you. Here's something for you. As I mentioned before, we're now creating these memories for our families now. How do you want them to remember this? And, do you want to be the Grinch, the grump in the corner, not having a good time? Is that how you want everyone to remember you? If you asked me last night, I would have said yes. But anyway, now that I'm calmer, no, that's not how I'd want it to go. And then taking it one step deeper is just focusing on what you can really be thankful for. And it can be so minor. Because if you're in that negative state, best to just take that break and go take a quick walk outside, something to kind of shake it up and come back and kind of revisit and reflect. But small things like having shelter. It's raining, it's cold, there's more weather expected. Having this shelter and access to hot drinks, having family nearby, or if you have to travel, being able to travel safely to where you need to go, or if you're stuck in the airport, yeah, it's an inconvenience to not be able to go or get your plans delayed or canceled, but when it's better than freezing and falling in the ocean because of a safety issue. Being able to have the choice to choose what we want to prepare for the family gathering or how we want our home to look when people come over for hosting, and access to thousands of recipes, holiday recipes, new recipes to try. These are all just, again, little things that add up and I think can make a difference. So that last question, where can I find that joy or that peace in this moment? I think it's a matter of us, you and me, deciding that you're just going to enjoy the holidays anyway, period. Doesn't matter whatever comes your way, the delays, the relative who says something to trigger you. Mentally prepare for that. Don't let it ruin your event, your time, your experience. And I think the best way for us to go into this together, okay, is to reclaim our joy and do not let anyone or anything steal it from us. Period. And I think if we go in this with that mindset of, this is my moment I get to create, I get to choose peace or being right, number one. And I get to reclaim joy in this moment and going forward. And I'm not letting anybody or anything get in the way of that. So I hope that this was semi-helpful. I know, again, I gotta apply it and in this event, report back to you guys. Only other thing I wanted to mention is coming up after the new year, January 10th, Tuesday, this is January 10th, 2023, I'm hosting a virtual workshop, complimentary, called Creating Intentional Balance, Finding Your Daily Mojo, and Staying on Track for 2023. I will link the invitation in the notes below. You're welcome to join us. It's a live event. It's my first public live event. I'm super excited about it. So again, and just expect a lot of these things. We're figuring them out in real time together. So I hope you can join us, and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to tune in. And happy holidays to you and your family. Let's reclaim that joy. Until next time.